Hello, today I'm reviewing several new under eye concealer releases and sharing how they performed on my over 40 dry under eyes that have some fine lines and texture. I have a few correctors thrown in the mix too. There have been quite a few under eye product releases lately, so I thought I would share my thoughts with you to help you maybe decide if any of these might work for you. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new, and let's see what are the best and worst of the new concealers. This first concealer has been talked about quite a bit because the foundation went viral. This is the KVD Good Apple Lightweight Full Coverage Concealer. It's $28 for 0.33 ounces. There are 32 shades. I am in shade Light 122. This is supposed to be an extremely long-wearing, crease-resistant concealer that's hydrating yet lightweight and provides full coverage. The consistency is pretty thin. It blends out easily and quickly using pretty much any method. You'll typically see me in the clips throughout this video using either a sponge or my fingers. That's just what I typically use. That's going to be user preference. I found it to be buildable from medium to full coverage depending on the tool that I used. If I used a sponge, I got a little bit less coverage. If I use my fingers, I got a little bit more. But it also depends on if I wear a corrector underneath. When I wear a corrector underneath to counteract the discoloration under my eyes, I can get it to full coverage. If I don't, I can get it from medium to medium full coverage. That's just how my under eyes are. I agree that this feels very lightweight. The finish is very smoothing and natural. It doesn't cake or gather. I would say it's pretty self-setting and could be crease resistant if you're someone who doesn't normally crease under your eyes. I am, no matter if it's a creaseless concealer or not, I just will crease right under my lash line. So I do have to set my concealers with a little bit of powder. I'll list the under eye setting powders that I typically use. If you're curious about those, in the description box below, along with everything I'm sharing with you in today's video. For me, this concealer is a little bit finicky because I have dry under eyes. I just feel when I had really long days where I wore this that I would feel a little bit dry. And I did notice a little bit more texture coming out at the end of those long days. If I had a shorter day though, it felt lightweight, it felt hydrated, and it was nice and smoothing. I do just always have to make sure that I am really hydrated underneath my eyes when I wear this. Now I find there's a scent to this that smells kind of like glue. I don't notice it after it's applied, but I do notice it when I open up the tube. I wanted to make note of that. I know scent is important to a lot of you. So if your under eyes aren't extremely dry, you may want to give this a try because it does provide really nice smoothing coverage. Bobbi Brown launched two under eye products, the Skin Concealer Stick and Skin Corrector Stick, which I mentioned in my February favorites and fails. I'll talk about this one here in a second. The Skin Concealer Stick retails for $32 for 0.11 ounces. There are 18 shades. My shade is Sand. This is supposed to brighten and even out imperfections and give you 12 hours of crease-proof comfort. Similarly to my Bare Minerals Bare Pro Stick Concealer that I absolutely love, I prefer to apply this with my fingers as opposed to going under my eye directly with the stick. Applying this to my fingers just allows it to warm up a little more before I apply it to my under eye. It gives it a little bit more creaminess, and I find it quicker and easier to apply that way, and it just seems creamier and smoother. I don't notice a scent with this at all. I would say the coverage of this is medium for me. I do need to layer a corrector to get medium full coverage or layer it up a little bit. Now before I set it, it looks really natural and flattering under my eyes, but unfortunately I do have to set this and any concealer with powder or I crease a lot underneath my eyes, and I find once I set it, no matter the powder I use, it just looks a little bit drier than what I prefer. You can see in this clip I have some vertical little creases that showed up right at my tear trough. It just wasn't very flattering. I had hoped that this would work because I love finding a really nice hydrating creamy stick concealer, but this was just a little bit too dry for me. I guess I'll stick with my Bare Pro from Bare Minerals, but the corrector stick is a different story. I really like this and I find it to be creamier than the concealer stick, which is how it ended up in my February monthly favorites and fails. This is also $32 for 0.11 ounces. There are 12 shades and I have the shade Bisque. This is supposed to be a natural looking color corrector that disguises under eye circles or discoloration on the face, and it lasts for up to 12 hours. I apply this the same way I do the Bobbi Brown concealer with my fingers. I like the creaminess of it that way. Now, this is an under eye corrector versus a concealer. So you're not applying this the same way you do concealer kind of everywhere. You really want to pinpoint this and place this only in your darkest areas. And I find that this gives natural, hydrated looking medium coverage that kind of brightens. I never could use her corrector that was in the pot that a lot of people love. It was always too drying for me. This is the opposite of that. It's creamy, but it stays in place. It corrects to the level that I need so that my concealer can perform better. I think anyone with any type of under eyes could wear this. If you're looking for a nice portable corrector, I would definitely give this a shot. I have really been enjoying this and using it day to day. I had quite a few requests asking me to test out the LYX Beauty Triple Fix Brightening Concealer. This is $18 for 0.18 ounce. There are 25 shades and my shade is LN6. This is supposed to brighten, nourish, and conceal your skin and give flexible, natural looking full coverage. They say that this is a rich, super creamy concealer, but I find the consistency to be pretty thin. It's easy to blend and I completely agree with that natural coverage claim. It looks like skin, but I cannot, no matter what I do, build this to full coverage. I would say this is medium to medium full coverage, depending on if I have a corrector underneath. But even with a corrector, I can only get it to medium full. I would almost say just under medium full. It feels very lightweight. It wears a long time and looks really nice under the eyes. I was really pleased each day I wore this with just how nice my under eye area looked. This is a really nice under eye concealer for any skin type if you're looking for medium to medium full coverage. I wish this had just a little bit more coverage that I could truly build it up to full, because sometimes with the hollows underneath my eyes, it can look really shadowy if I don't have a little bit more coverage than this. But the texture, the wear, the smoothness of this was really nice. Now, even though I've already talked about Catrice True Skin High Cover Concealer in a couple of other videos, I feel like I need to put it in this one in case you haven't seen those videos. It is a relatively new release. It's $7 for 0.27 ounces. There are 15 shades. I usually put shade 10 underneath my eyes, and if I'm concealing anything on my face, I'll use shade 18. In my most recent dupes video, I said this was the closest drugstore match to my beloved Dior Forever Skin Correct Concealer. I have never found anything that truly comes close to that until this. So this is actually supposed to be ideal for dry skin and provide natural hydrating full coverage. This has a very creamy consistency. It's very easy to blend out. It just seems to meld into my skin. It's very skin-like, just like the Dior. I can take this from medium to full coverage and it looks natural the entire time. It's lightweight and comfortable, long wearing and flattering, hydrating. It just looks great all day. There is nothing not to like about this, including the price point for anyone with any texture under your eyes, any skin type. I don't share a lot from Morphe here on my channel. I just don't really gravitate towards the brand, but they launched a new Filter Effect Soft Radiance Concealer and the name alone just intrigued me. It's $12 for 0.12 ounce. There are 20 shades and the shade that you'll see me apply is Light 6. This has hyaluronic acid and some other good ingredients in it. It's supposed to hydrate and brighten and conceal, and it's also supposed to be sweat proof and water resistant and long wearing. So I was really intrigued by all of that. It has a thin, easy to blend consistency and it looks nice and natural. In smoothing at first, I can build it from medium to medium full coverage. It feels lightweight, and I do agree that this is very long wearing, but I find on longer days it starts to become unflattering and emphasize the dryness and texture under my eyes about halfway through the day, and it just doesn't look that good at the end of the day. There's also a very strong scent to this. It is really strong when you open it up. So for me, with my dry under eyes, with texture, with fine lines, I mean, I'm 46, I'm not getting any younger. I need something that's gonna be flattering underneath my eyes. This just did not cut it, even though it started out looking pretty. I would reserve this for those of you with normal to oily under eyes. Revlon recently launched their ColorStay Skin Awaken 5-in-1 Concealer. There are some correctors in this line as well. This has caffeine and vitamin C. It's supposed to perfect and brighten the under eye area, hide puffiness, imperfections, and dark circles. Did I say wear up to 24 hours? It's right here. Wear up to 24 hours, so that's a big claim. This is $11.99 for 0.27 ounces. There are 19 shades. I have the corrector in Universal Brightener and the concealer in shade 25 light beige. It has a small sponge tip applicator, which I find kind of pointless because you still have to blend it out with some other method. The consistency is thin, it blends out easily, and it seems like it's going to be smoothing when I start blending it out, but it starts to dry down kind of patchy and it's just not really flattering. I find the brightener to be pretty sheer and it's also a little bit drying for me. The concealer has more coverage than the brightener, the corrector, but it looks a little bit heavy under my eyes because I have to layer it where I show more darkness. It feels lightweight, but I just don't find this to be flattering as I wear it throughout the day. These were not hits for me at all. I hope they would be. I love finding drugstore under eye products, but that's always been a struggle. I find a lot of drugstore under eye products to be too drying for my under eye area, and these unfortunately fall in that category. Sigma Beauty launched some new color correctors. These are the Spectrum color correcting duos. There are 3 shades. I have the light medium. There are 2 shades in each that you can mix and customize. This is $30 for 0.05 ounces, and this is solid, so you're gonna have less than you would with a liquid product. I find this to give medium coverage that's natural looking. It's very hydrating and wears under concealer nicely. This isn't the most opaque corrector I've ever used, but if you want something that is going to give you a little bit of coverage underneath your concealer beyond what your concealer would give you and provide hydration, I think this product is excellent. That's often an issue with correctors, is that they're just too dry, and then when you go to apply concealer on top of them, it just looks bad. This seems to enhance my skincare, the eye cream that I've already applied, really nicely. So this was actually a nice little surprise. This works really well for my dry textured over 40 under eyes. Next up, we have Benefit Boi-ing Bright On Concealer. This is $24 for 0.17 ounce. There are 12 shades, and I am in the shade Peach, which, if you look at this, does not look very peach. This has vitamin C and red algae extract and some things that are supposed to nourish your under eye area. The consistency is thin. It's easy to blend out. I don't find that it gives above light medium coverage, though. Now, I thought I made this work and look okay because I, applied it at my darkest points. And then I applied my corrector over it and everything looked actually pretty good. But then a friend of mine and I took a photo together and you could just see where it was too yellow toned underneath my eyes. But aside from that, I just didn't feel like my under eye area felt moisturized, and I just didn't feel like it was super flattering as the day went on in terms of texture and dryness. I thought about getting a lighter shade, but the shades are all described as being even warmer than this one, except for I think 1, maybe 2 are described as peach or pink, and they seem like they're a lot lighter. But I mean, I have other correctors in my life, my daily life, that I love, and even ones in this video that performed better than this one did, color excluded. So I decided, this was just okay for me in terms of performance. I wanted to at least let you know that if you were thinking about getting this and you thought the shade Peach was going to be okay for you, if you have light medium skin, you may want to rethink that. We had some good, we had some bad in this video. Did any of these concealers or correctors appeal to you? Let me know in the comments. Let me know if you have any you want me to check out and test. If you haven't seen my latest foundation roundup with new foundation releases, I'll have it linked here for you. I hope you found this helpful and enjoyable. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you're not already. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.